Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sparing your time to choose our show today. Now, the Independent Police Oversight Authority is revealing to us that the policemen who are deployed to maintain law and order during the Saba protest and the 25th June protest, when youth went on the street to remember their colleagues and peers who were killed during last year's June protest against the Finance Bill 2024, were actually abandoned. That the police were deployed on the streets and they were supposed to get allowances. They have not gotten the allowances to date. They were supposed to be given some access to water and food because they were running battles with the angry youths. And the report is now saying that the police were left without food, without water. So you saw the policemen who are running, having running battles, beating people on the street, killing them. They were working under very harsh conditions. And you all know that as the members of the disciplined force, the police is not allowed to protest. They suffer in silence. They're not allowed to join unions because sometimes other civil servants are allowed to join unions, like teachers. Where there's a problem, NAT will always speak for them. But our policemen are suffering in silence. So they got a window of opportunity when the Independent Police Oversight Authority is probing the deaths of people like Ojwang, Njoki, the deaths of people who are killed on the streets. And they also got that opportunity to report William Ruto to the IPOA because they cannot do that publicly. They fear that they will be reprimanded. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to listen to William Ruto promising that he would create an independent budget for the police so that we don't have cases of people not being paid their allowances. Allow me also to present to you this course that we are running of Mama Peter, whom we are contributing some money towards, the school fees and a few things that she's requesting us to do. Mama Peter is saying that the family lost their father, who was the sole breadwinner 3 months ago, and things have not remained the same again. Peter was actually sent for school fees, but it was this period of doing exams. So we requested the principal to allow Peter to take his exams, but that is after I had promised that I would present his case so that we help him raise these terms and of course next term's school fees. Mama Peter is also requesting that should we raise something higher kidogo, then she wants to begin a small business to help her make ends meet and clear. So kindly spare something very little, kidogo kidogo ujaza kibaba, ile kidogo tuko nayo, so that it can run along that course. Ladies and gentlemen, this is President William Ruto promising that the police would be given an independent budget.
We made a commitment that we will provide financial independence for the police. I already issued instructions, and yesterday that was implemented by Treasury. Now, henceforth, the police will have an independent budget. They will not be begging for money from other offices. We will allocate them the resources as is being done by Parliament. And we will begin to make demands of them on matter security, because in the past they used to give excuses of depending on finances from other offices. Now they have their own independent financing. We expect improved security in the country.
Now, despite all that, you would wonder why we still have such cases under the Ruto administration, where policemen are still saying, hatujalipwa, hatukupewa hii. This is not the first time. There was a time after the Madaraka celebrations in Bungoma, Those who are deployed there to mount a parade, to march during that celebration, were never paid their allowances. They were actually forced to borrow uniforms because apparently police officers are operating in worn out clothes, and they complained. At least some of them came out and decided enough is enough. And this is happening despite William Ruto appointing the former Chief Justice David Maraga to lead a task force that was to look into the welfare of the police, the Kenya Prisons Department, and the Kenya Forest Service, and I think the NYS. And the Maraga task force brought a report that was very disturbing. The police working under very difficult situations, those who are in hardship areas are hardly given allowances. They live in squalid areas. That's why unaona polisi wetu kila saa toa kitu kidogo. They are living under very squalid places. That is why corruption in the police force can never end. So you can imagine the police who is going to maintain law and order is already demoralized. So he meets you on the street, and you can imagine how he will mistreat you, because they are also mistreated on the other end. That's why you see them beating people on the street, because an already disappointed and frustrated police is a dangerous police. Their work is not very easy. And that can explain the reason why the policemen are very brutal. Number two, how can you deploy a police officer who knows very well that he will not get his allowances? That's why they even aid in looting. They will keep quiet there as protesters loot shops and private property. They are deployed to provide security to government, buildings, to shops. So what makes a police officer just say, watch our loot, kwani ni nini? Because they have a feeling that the money perhaps has been provided and it goes into the pockets of others. Instead of the government looking at the welfares of the policemen and women, they're being used to torment or frustrate the government critics. Ukionekana na Gachagua kidogo, the police, the DCI, to frustrate protesters. When you say Ruto must go, wako na wewe. And then it's funny that the same policemen who are killing us on the streets are not given their allowances. You know what? The policemen should understand that they are part of this country. When we suffer, they all suffer with us. And when people are running to force the government to listen to Kenyans, to make life better, we are also fighting for them, and they should understand that. And that is why their job is cut out for them to maintain law and order, not to kill people. Look, for example, at the police who killed this man who was selling masks in Nairobi. Yani, wewe kazi yako ni kufuatwa tu risasi na upewi allowances zako, hata maji hauna, chakula hauna. So you are being used. And that is why the police is being reminded, utabeba msalaba wako. Why do you allow someone to misuse you? And if the problem emanates from the police itself, because maybe the money has been wired into that budget, because I know for sure that budget was created, the independent budget. As to whether it has been replenished, because we could say that there is a budget and yet there is no money. But if it is indeed true that there is money, then some people must be held accountable. Hii mambo ya kunyanyasa polisi wadogo hapa chini, no. If we need to have a just society, let us also be just to our juniors. Let us also be just to the police. Sometimes I know there are a few police officers who are giving this department a very bad name. Anakutana na wewe, unaenda zako, they kill you, they frustrate you. But for the very good policemen, mwingine alikuwa ananiambia kuna polisi nzuri. I also understand these are also part of they come from our society and the community where they are our brothers and sisters, our fathers and mothers. And we should understand that they are also human beings. The only reason why there is an enmity between the police and the common man, otherwise called Raya, is the kind of training, if I'm not wrong, and the kind of orders that they are given by the president. Like the other day walikuwa naambiwa shoot, piga mguu risasi, as if mguu ukipiga mtu hata bleed. Then some people others say no, not shooting the food, shoot to kill. And this independent budget, together with the independent orders, because William Ruto says that the orders only come from the Inspector General, and now they have their independent budget. This is what Ruto said when he met. There's a president who came into the country and was being asked, what are you doing about the police killing our people? Ruto exonerated himself and distanced himself, saying, I have already created an independent budget for them, and the police is independent. They don't take orders from us, they take it from the Inspector General. So that should there be anything or people are called to the Hague, we'll have to say, I have created an independent budget. I have created an autonomous department. They don't take orders from me. Yet we all know that juzi alikuwa anasema shoot. So he still orders them. There is a go slow within the police, ni vile hawataki kusema. They are demoralized. They are disappointed. Gachagua juzi alituambia that there are policemen who are saying, let us just take the orders because tunalinda unga. But we are tired of this government. And they are praying for a one-term moment because they can't take it. Wao pia wanakatwa ile housing levy, I think, if I'm not wrong. The payslip is not breathing at all. Unakatwa hii na ile, you know. So they are part of the civil servant that are not very happy. The Maraga task force ilimeza pesa, you know, na hakuna kitu inafanyika. Let the police understand that when the Gen Zs go to the street, these are the kind of things that they are fighting for. Badala ya kuua watu, let them just maintain law and order, because I don't expect them to join wananchi in protest. But let them refuse such very outrageous orders, whether from State House, from Murkomen, from who, because now wanatumika na wapati kitu, hii pesa inaingia kwa mikono ya watu wengine. And do you know why? When the police or any other department realizes that corruption is somehow allowed from the top, then they feel nothing wrong with taking your money as a junior officer. And so, ladies and gentlemen, wengine watasema kimeramba wa polisi. Unajua hii hata ripoti wengine walikuwa nasema, yes, that's upon you, mmekuwa mkituua kila saa. So as all this is happening, there is an already bad blood between the civilian and the police. So watu wanasema, let them suffer. We don't care, because when we try to protest against such kind of bad leadership, they kill us. It is high time the government gives enough support to the police. And it's also high time that the police changes its attitude towards the civilian for us to have a decent country. I don't know what to think about this, ladies and gentlemen, but the imagination that wale walikuwa wanatuua na wanasema, kama ule polisi alikuwa anasema niko na haki ya kukuua. Can you imagine anasema hayo yote na hajalipwa? I mean, what is wrong with some of us? And that is why whether the education system wanalia wapi kila mahali. And I have a feeling that we need to change this system. Such kind of things are being used as political tool. I know you don't really have to campaign telling the police that we will make life better for you. Now he is in office, the same thing is recurring. The Wamunyoro group, the opposition, is now saying, don't worry, when we take over government, we will ensure that we improve your welfare. Let's wait and see whether things will change, because I have always maintained on this channel that the more things change, the more they remain the same. I don't see much difference on this. In my very considered opinion, I think Maraga can effect some changes. I don't know what to think, but that is my take.